brother. Coach Francisco Rojas.
Professor.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming up.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, get to hang out with some of our coaches at Glendale.
Mhm.
Shout out to Legacy Glendale.
Shout out. Shout out.
Yeah, been working hard, competitor, doing a lot of work, man. Good work.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's been fun. I really enjoy it. Like training obviously like is fun, but when you add like coaching the kids as well, it's like a whole nother world, and
Yeah.
it's like rewarding in a different way.
Yeah,
It's like you learn too, by teaching.
yeah, for
So I
sure,
really like that part.
for sure. Cool. How did you get into jiu-jitsu, or what made you want to do it?
Man, like I think everyone has like multiple reasons, Like everyone says like, "Oh, I wanted to like defend myself, or I want to get fit, I want to lose weight." But like for me, honestly, like I was thinking about it, and like yeah, like all those reasons were true too. But I think I was just like someone who needed discipline, like consistency, like and then like on the other side too, like when I was a kid, like I would always mess around um with my friends, like just like in the schoolyard or like at their house. Like I would like
Being
since
physical.
I was little, yeah, always like wrestling or like throwing on boxing gloves. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was fun, and I always felt like I was like better at that than like ball sports, like
Yeah.
basketball, soccer. So I was like, oh, like I enjoy, I have fun, like I didn't know what I was doing, but you could say I was like decent at it because I would like win against my friends.
Yeah,
But
it's fun,
yeah, like I thought it was cool. I looked into it a little bit more, and then once I tried it, I was like, okay, like I think I could be good at this, So yeah.
What did you watch UFCs, or how did
Yeah,
you find
like always,
jiu-jitsu?
yeah, like always watch like UFC stuff like that. Not like super like into it, but I mean it was always on, and I don't know. I think also like at the time when I was a kid, like high school, I was like a troubled kid, I had like aggression, and like for some reason all my friends were the same, so we just always like ended up getting in like to fights and stuff like that, like high school, and I was like, man, like I was like. I was wanting to like actually train and actually know how to fight, because like these little street fights or whatever, or like schoolyard fights, it's like one thing, but like it's completely different when you actually know what you're doing,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Right?
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where did you grow up?
Here in Burbank.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like I came. Well, I was basically raised here,
Okay.
but I was born in Japan actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I came when I was 3 years old. So basically my whole life, I barely even remember it. But yeah, like Burbank, Burbank High School.
Your mom is Japanese?
My mom is half Japanese actually.
Okay.
So she's Peruvian and Japanese, and then my dad is Peruvian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're from Peru.
The Peruvian connection.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Japanese, a lot of Asian, like Chinese now too.
Yeah,
Oh my
Peruvian.
God.
And in Peru, there's a lot of like Japanese, a lot of Chinese.
Yeah.
In Brazil too, obviously.
Brazil, yeah, Sao
Yeah.
Paulo.
Yeah. Like my
Koreans too now.
Yeah.
Koreans for a while, yeah.
My mom has a lot of family in Sao Paulo, from her Japanese side. So,
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to Japan?
No, honestly, not since like I was born. We actually didn't have like many like roots there. Like I have some family that lives there still, but like they went because like at the time, Japan was like looking like offering like worker visas and stuff to like South Americans, and it was easy for them, to like travel back and forth, whatever. And then like obviously like the economy was better in Japan, like they could earn better. And then at the time too, like it all like basically came together like perfectly. Like their job where my parents like met, the company was like offering like severance packages or something like that. So they're like, oh, we'll just take some money, go to Japan, start again. It's like a new opportunity. And then like a few years later, they were gonna come back to Peru, but it was crazy. Like my mom randomly applied. Like her friend told her like, oh, apply for like there's something called like a visa lottery or something like that for the U.S.
Wow.
That every year they give out like certain like spots,
Yeah.
And like she didn't think much of it. She didn't think she was gonna get it or whatever. But she gets it, and then like one day she gets an envelope in the mail, and it was like, oh, like you've been accepted, like you and your family have been accepted to come to U.S. like legally, like like resident, everything. And they did it, they had a decision to make. Like that year they were gonna go back to Peru. Like they had lived in Japan like 8 years or something. And I was like, it's up to you, like to my dad. And my dad's like, oh, let's go to U.S. So he had a couple friends
Nice.
here in Burbank, and they're like, oh yeah, Burbank's like a good town or whatever. they would tell him like, oh, like you going to LA, like, oh, watch out, like it's dangerous. But like Burbank's not like that, you know, it's like pretty safe. So we came here.
Glendale Burbank is with all the during all the riots and everything else,
Yeah.
right? It was like the only place that
Yeah,
held it down, kind of.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, from what I hear. So yeah, I mean, basically came and then I just grew up here, you know. So it's
You
been
have a lot of family
crazy.
still in Peru.
Yeah, for sure. You know, big family on my dad's side, on my mom's side. Like I said, I have a few family members in Japan.
Where in Peru?
And mostly in Lima.
Lima, okay.
Yeah, the capital.
Who I think Adita and I went last year. It was like, wow, it was beautiful. It was really cool. We went to, of course, Machu Picchu and all
Machu
that, you
Picchu.
know. But Lima was, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Is it similar to Brazil?
modern.
You think?
Similar. It's similar, I think. It's South America, but yeah, similar in a lot of ways. Right, there's nice areas, right, and there's
Yeah.
like poor areas.
Yeah, for sure.
Like most Latin American countries or big cities, right?
Yeah.
But the nice ones are nice. Like in the cuisine, they have like really high level cuisine in Lima, especially in Peru.
Dude, it's
like
crazy.
the world renowned. You know, they had all these like I don't know crazy. I don't know how it works with all the stars and all that, but they had these like the top restaurants in the world. Some of the top restaurants in the world there.
Yeah, 2023, like the world's like best restaurant or whatever was in Peru.
In
or
Peru.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
And
In Lima.
yeah, like the world renowned cuisine, you know, like they win a lot of awards. Like Peruvian food's really popular.
Yeah, they
I guess.
mix like the Asian with the Latin and
Exactly.
everything.
Yeah, it's good. You know? But yeah.
So you got the Japanese, you got the samurai blood.
That's right.
Maybe
yeah.
that's what got you to
maybe that's what it is, you know.
Your intuition to move towards fighting stuff.
Towards the martial arts. I mean, I always liked martial arts, you know, like growing up. I think a lot of kids, you know, like their
Yeah.
dad, like my dad watched a lot of like kung fu movies, like karate, you know, like Bruce Lee, especially, you know, he loved Bruce Lee.
Did your dad ever do any?
When he was young,
martial art
like he
things?
did like karate and stuff, you know.
Okay.
When I was younger too, like they put me into like taekwondo too, but like I feel like that wasn't like it really didn't amount to much, you know. Maybe because I quit. I don't know. I was like a little kid. I was like in
Yeah.
second grade, you know, and
I
but I
mean,
look at it
not
now.
knowing what you know now, right? With the being realistic, be able to defend yourself and actually do something in a situation, right?
No, I mean like no disrespect to taekwondo, you know, but like it's not jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? It's like it's a completely different world, you know. And I don't know, maybe they say it's like different in like Korea or Japan, you know, but here it's like I feel like it's a little bit like watered down or
Yeah.
whatever. That's
What are
they
some
say.
good things though? Because that's the thing, right? What are some good things that you get from, I don't know, from you know, like they have like it's a business, right?
Yeah.
Like the martial art business, you know, the taekwondo guys and
Like what's the good things for the students, you mean?
for the students, yeah.
I mean, like the structure, you know, anywhere
Structure.
there's structure, I think it's like a good opportunity for people to grow, you know, to like learn like valuable skills like discipline, respect, you know, like perseverance, like you
Yeah.
know, like not giving up and stuff. But I just think like, for example, something like jujitsu, like it's so much more like intense, you know, like even like if you do one like class, you know, it's like those 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever of sparring, it's like you really like have to like come face to face with yourself, you know, and like you know who you are pretty quick, you know.
Yeah.
And also like it gives you an opportunity to know who someone else is, you know. I feel like there's like a moment, you know, where you guys like just finish rolling and you're like sweating and you're like tired and whatever, and there in that moment like both you guys are very genuine, you know, like you see the other person,
Authentic, yeah.
you know, and like they tell you, like they give you a compliment or like they ask you something or whatever, and it's like, oh, like this is like pretty genuine, you know, it's cool, you know. Yeah, like it's like
Sometimes I
nothing
do
I've
those
experienced.
like I'll do a reel, and I feel like the timing is after you train, because you're gonna be real. There's no nonsense. You're just gonna say how you feel. You don't
Yeah,
care, you know.
exactly.
You put it all out there, and
Yeah, you can't hide on the mat, you know what I mean? That's something that I like to say, like it's you show who you truly are.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's cool.
yeah.
You know, I think not very many things in life do that, you know, or at least that I've experienced. You know, it's another reason why I like jujitsu so much. Like, obviously, like there was like the physical stuff, like you know, defending yourself or whatever. But after a certain point, I realized like I started like thinking different, you know, and I'm sure you noticed it too. Like, it's not even that like I think, oh, I can fight better than so and so, or like that guy's untrained, like, you know, it's not even about like knowing
Fighting,
that I
right?
can grapple better or I can fight better. It's more like I know that I think differently than my past self, you know, than who I used to be. And then I look at like guys that are like they they move or like they think like how I used to, and I'm like, oh, like, you know, if you trained, I think it would be better. You know, it would help you a lot. You know, and I don't know. I
As
really
a
like that.
person, right? As a personal development, you're talking about.
Exactly, exactly. Like your mind just works differently. Like not that like you're like always like you know seeing jujitsu and everything, but like almost in a way, you know, like I was thinking a lot like I'm sure like it applies in business too, you know, or like do you, what about you, like you who has a business, like do you look at like growing a business like how
Yeah,
you
like how
attack
you do
jiu-jitsu?
one thing is how you do everything, right? And
Yeah.
so, jujitsu's been the model for me because that's when I was young. That's what I did, and I, I learned the steps. I learned success, and I had, with that. And so you apply that same mindset, the same pattern, right, to everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very true. How you do one thing is how how you do one thing. If you do it well, you do well in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know. I think like I began to think more like uh having a cool mind, you know, like just cool, cool,
Staying
cool.
calm, yeah.
You know, like no matter what happens around me, like I just stay cool. You know?
Right, like we talk about it sometimes. Like if you're in a bad position, like in side control or mounted, and you panic. If you panic, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to stay calm, find your opening, and then once you have the opening, boom, you take it. But if you panic and you know,
Mm.
that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
Overreact, right?
exactly. It's something that we've been telling the kids lately. Like we have a couple kids who, you know, like they're really good, but they're so competitive that, you know, the second that something starts going like not their way in the fight, like they start like, you can tell on their face, like they start like, you know, getting emotional. And I tell them like, you know, like this, the moment you like lose your cool, you lost the match. You know, like the second you start and like just watch like your footage. You know what I mean? Like the second you start getting emotional, you start losing control. You start like making a mistake. Now they're one step ahead, and then it like snowballs into like now you just lost the whole match. You know, so it's important, man. I think that's like one of the first things that I learned, like staying cool. You know, like uh, I think at the beginning, like it wasn't even about winning. It was like how much can I like take essentially, like how much of a beating can I take and still like keep my cool and not like freak out. You know, there was something cool that I read like you know, back then, like I mean not back then, but when I was first starting, from Dan I heard it was like a quote like basically saying like your phase determines like your mental state during the fight, you know? So if you notice like the best guys, they always keep their face super
Poker
straight.
faced, yeah.
Poker face, you know? And I started watching videos, I was like, oh, that's true, you know, like the best guys like Gordon or whatever, like they never, even when they're like under pressure in a bad spot, maybe like they're never like reacting like, oh, like some you see some guys with like the crazy face or like, you know, and I was like, I started doing that. You know, I was like, I'm gonna keep my face like as still as possible. You know, like this round, I'm not gonna work about like on skills or anything. I'm just gonna work on that one skill of like just keeping my face straight, and it's helped me a lot. You know, like
Yeah.
I noticed a big mental shift. You know, so
Yeah, because
yeah,
it depend how if you smile, you get different hormones, different things happening. So if you stay cool, calm, and collected in your face, everything else follows, right?
exactly, exactly. You know, it's crazy. Like I wonder what kind of like chemicals or whatever go on in your mind when you're like rolling hard. You know, like I don't know. I feel like it's
It's
something
the
like
mystery of the universe,
yeah,
right there.
right. It's weird. Like it's you're doing something physical, but also mental. You know, it's like it was weird to like get used to that feeling at first. You know, like
Constantine,
yeah,
he was like a monk,
hmm
and we did a podcast with him like a couple weeks ago, I did 1 year before that, but I always find it really interesting talking to him just because he lived in like a temple and in the monastery, right,
wow,
for some years, and he was younger, he was a teenager, and just the similarities of like jujitsu and that life, right? Because they say like, where did jiu-jitsu come from? Like monks, right? Created it, and I think it came from India. Then they went to China, then to Japan, then from Japan to Brazil, and then here we are around the world.
wow,
But there's certain patterns, right, that they did, like showing respect, like the lineage, like the certain mannerisms that we do, because it gets in the right frame of mind for training and tapping into into that frequency,
Yeah.
of being the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's all those little things. And if you start skipping those things or doing things a different way, but there's a reason why we do all the things, It's just, I find it interesting, and it's much deeper than to get so, well, it's not that deep. It actually is,
Yeah. Like, I actually think like it's deeper than most people think, like, um, for example, like jujitsu wise, like all the top guys, like they're all strong, they're all athletic, they're all in shape. But I think the guys who are at the top is like the guys who can like really do like a lot of mental work, and like either commit more than the other guy, or like endure more than the other guy, or be more like consistent more than the other guy. You know, it's like all mental. Like, how did you feel like when you were like that guy? Like competing all the time. Like, what did you do mentally to like stay like consistent?
I would study, I would read books, and I would, focus on that, just my training, balancing my training out to not get burnt out. And I would just read like athlete books, like one guy that I loved a lot, just his mindset, just his toughness was Dan Gable. So I used to read anything I could get my hands on when I was younger,
Oh, wow.
and just surround myself with those people. And then of course I moved down to Brazil because that's where the best guys were. And then being next to people like you, that's what you feed off of that, And then of course studying matches and how they react. Like you were saying, you watch footage and things like that. But I think I would read a lot of books, and I still do,
Wow.
I still do. Right, success leaves clues, and they're all in there. They're all out there. You just have to find it.
Would you say like when you didn't have like those people around you, like books were like those people? Like,
yeah, for sure. When I was like 18, I was still in New Mexico. I ended up moving there later on, but I didn't have anybody like around me, and so I was working and I was training like as a hobby, but it wasn't. But I had these books, and I would read like biographies and whatever these certain people, like it was really like a lot of like biographies, and then I would get into that mindset of how they were and what they would do, and then it helped me kind of forge my path.
That's cool. Yeah, like I feel like I was like that too as a kid. Like I feel like I didn't have enough like role models, and when I was like a teen, like I feel like it was just my group, and we were all the same. Like we were all the same guy. Like we were all just like lost kids. We all had like stuff going on at home. It wasn't like the worst, but it was also like we weren't like in the best spot, And then it's like the blind leading the blind.
Well, it's like the number one predictor of success is what? Like the 5 people you hang out with.
Exactly.
When I tell my son, I was like, hey, the 5 people that are around you dictate where you're going to be. I just want to make sure I'm one of those guys, one of those 5 guys. Cool? Yeah. He's like, okay.
Exactly. That's a good one. That's good. For sure.
So I spend some time with them every day, and like I just want to make sure I'm one of those people,
Oh, it's good. The fact that you have the opportunity to do that. And like you're aware of it, so you're like, all right, I'm gonna place myself like purposely there.
Yeah.
So he has no choice but to be around me.
Yeah. And so that the same thing, right, is in everything that you do. Who are you hanging out with? Who are you spending time with?
100%. Like,
and if you don't have those people around you, like I lived in New Mexico, and I had some like amazing mentors, like business people and whatever, and they were wrestlers too, so they would talk to me and stuff too. But on the day to day, I didn't, because they were a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
So again, I would surround myself with books, and that kind of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when I was kind of like trying to change my like life or whatever, I was like young, I was like 18, 19 or whatever. I was like hanging out less with those guys, but also, I was really looking for someone, but I didn't know where to, find mentorship or whatever. And I would go to YouTube, and I would like find some, I was like, I guess that's my version of books, and I would find like motivational speakers or whatever, things like that.
It's good. That's good.
There'd be like my online role.
We're in the information age right now.
Exactly.
With Reels and Instagram.
Exactly. Exactly.
Once once they figure out your algorithm, then you start seeing more of those things, right?
Yeah, it becomes easier. But I'm glad I went through that stuff. Like, I still talk to like the homies. Like they're not bad guys. It's just we were just like dumb kids. Doing bad stuff, and yeah, like I think we all learned. Like some took longer than others, but I think it speeds up your progress when you have someone around you. Like it would have been even better if I had someone like day to day, like, oh, like do this, like look, like. But I really didn't have that, so I don't know. I did my best, you know. I feel like I turned out okay, you know. And,
Yeah. I mean, like one of the things with the jiu-jitsu gym, right, is you have people that are like, they all have like the same goal and they're all like pushing each other, right?
exactly.
Being honest and authentic and being real with each other.
Yeah. I wish I had that when I was a kid, you know. Like we always, like the coaches, like we always like talk about it. We're like, man, like sometimes we see some kids like do some amazing stuff. We're like, wow, that's crazy. Like I wonder what I could have done if I started at that age, you know, like 3, 4.
If they would have had somebody, if you would have had somebody like you.
Yeah. Or even if I just started at like in high school or something, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an amazing thing, you know. Like, and then these little kids, like they compete, like they're like, dude, I forget that they're like it's a funny, it's funny, you know. We forget, you know, pretty easily that they're just like 5, 6 years old, you know. 'Cause they're such fighters,
little
you know?
babies with big
Yeah,
hearts and
yeah.
and spirits, right?
It's crazy, man. Like seeing how their like demeanor changes during the fight. It's just like how you see an adult fight, you know. Like they're doing the adult moves like even better than like the adults, you know. It's like it's crazy, you know. And like honestly, like I competed before I was a coach, but once I started coaching, it was like a little bit different. Like something in me was like, oh, dude, like there's no way like I like should be scared if that little kid can do it. You know what I mean? Like these little kids are competing all the time. They compete more than I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, like I'm gonna compete. You know what I mean? And it's cool. Like the last one I did, Jiu-Jitsu World League, I won in front of them too, like in front of like some of the boys, like are like closest, like kind of like boys that like you know train with us, and it was cool. Like they were there, the parents, you know, and I got the gold, you know, and it was great. And I had to like come back from like a bad spot like twice, you know, and it was cool, man. It was really rewarding, you know, like that feeling was like super rewarding.
Tapping into something bigger than yourself, right?
Yeah.
Representing something.
Yeah, for sure. Like I really enjoy working with the kids. Like I said, it's rewarding, and like also like I'm learning a new skill, which is like teaching. You know, like I usually teach like the level 2. Like we have like 3 levels.
Right.
Level 2 is like fundamentals, whatever. During the week, for both the tinies and the kids, the big kids. And then it's cool. Like I show them the technique. Like I walk around, like give them like advice, give them tips. You know, I try to give as much as myself as I can. You know. But I'm learning that like when I help my teammates who are adults, I like know how to show them better. You know, I know what they need. Like I'm recognizing a little bit more like what mistakes they're making. Like I don't know, it's rewarding. You know, like and I feel like I get better just mentally. You know, maybe I'm not doing all the reps, but like mentally, I feel like I'm like still sharp.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Did you play any other sports growing up?
No, not really. Like I was always an active kid. Like but I didn't really play much
Like
sports.
in school or anything?
In school, I did track and field.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Where'd you go to high school?
Burbank
Okay,
High.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I did track, but you know, never really played like many like other sports. You know, I was always active though. Like I loved hiking. I would go hiking like multiple times a week. Like you know, and then obviously like running around with my friends. Like we would like wrestle or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you know, not nothing crazy. You know, but. I always wanted that like discipline of like a sport, you know, and it was cool. Like I was like, oh, jiu-jitsu is basically like joining a team, you know, like a team sport, but you're just not in school anymore. You're just, you know, in the real world.
Yeah, you're mentioning just how you wish you would have had it, you know, when you were growing up as a teenager even, right? But the beautiful thing with jiu-jitsu is like, man, it's like a lifestyle, right? It like never goes away. Like whatever age you're at, like it's good, it's there, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas some other combat sports, like man, you definitely have a time, right? Like that you can do it.
Short career.
Short career, yeah. Whether it's teenage years or teenager in high school and college, whatever, or 20s, you know. But the beautiful thing with jiu-jitsu is like, man, we have Savage downstairs. He's almost 80, right? And man. And it keeps us real, keeps us at our best, right?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. You know, I want to do it as long as I possibly can. You know, I think I've gotten like a couple like injuries that are like a little like chronic or whatever. You know, because like I think it's just overtraining.
What kind of things?
Like in my knee right here, there's like some like not when I go forward and back, but when I rotate it sideways. Like or out like this, it hurts like right here at like the hinge almost, and then like a little bit in my elbow, whatever. It's just like I feel like I'm just using it like over and over.
They say you take the most damage, right? Like, and for grappling, right? Elbows and knees.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so how do you move your elbows and how do you move your knees?
Yeah.
And most people, like in taekwondo, we show all those things, you know, how to move all your joints, you know. But the elbows and the knees are like key. And so I always, when I do like a cool down after class, I always do like not every time, but I do a lot of times. I do the elbow rotations and just little moving the elbows, not the knees so much because we're doing other things. We don't have so much time. But man, it's so key to move your knees, right? And if somebody has a knee injury, I always show them like my go-to kind of knee movement, you know, just moving your knee in all directions. Because what happens when you get an injury, it just gets really tight, you know, like it's like stiff, and then like stuff doesn't, like the water and the liquids and whatever, nutrition doesn't get to those areas and doesn't heal.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
need to show me that because
For sure, for sure.
But I like when you do those cool downs after, you know, like after class. I feel much better, you know. I like to stretch after.
Why do we do a cool down? Why is it important?
I don't know. I feel like we gotta like let go of all that tension of all that stuff, you know. Like I feel very tight and like stiff, you know, if I don't cool down or anything.
Yeah.
Like and like later in the day, like maybe not right away, but like later in the day something will hurt, or like I'll pull something, or it's like
You're
too
like
stiff,
aching a little bit more,
you know, the next morning, you know. But yeah, I really enjoy those cool downs, you know.
Nice. Yeah, it's crazy because just like 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes of you like flex a part of the body to turn off the other side, you know? Like for example, your bicep tricep, you have to flex your tricep to turn off your bicep. You know, there's like they call it agonist antagonist muscles, you know?
Oh wow, interesting.
And so we like most of life is like flexion, where we're like flexing and you know, and we do a lot of things to open ourselves up, and twisting is a form of extension of opening things up too. So I usually do like some kind of, you know, stretching, like the extension things, and some twisting, the upper body, lower body, you know, because you can't go too long, right? And then one big long like compensation hold, like to turn off all the flexion side of things.
Yeah, like that's so interesting, man. Like I want to learn more about the body, you know, like how do you like, you know, or what did you do when you were like competing a lot, like to like.
Man, I wish I would have known all these tactic things that I know now. I didn't pass one of my 5 medicals because of some brain things, and then one thing led to another, and I ended up finally finding TacFit. That the founder or the creator was a grappler. He's like a sambo guy. He actually, like a lot of the mastering, like a lot of the saddle stuff, like locking things, it's like from him. Wow. But he helped me for one of my UFC fights, and so I ended up finally going to see him. And then I was like, okay, cool, I get a second chance because everything in my body hurt, like every single joint, you know, pretty much. And little by little, things started to come back, you know. And it's really cool because instead of somebody telling me like, oh, my shoulder hurts, I have to get shoulder surgery, before I would say, sorry, man, like, oh, sorry. But now I have an answer, and they see, oh, it looks like your lats are really tight, you know. And so like stretch your lats. Like a lot of times I do that in our compensation at the end of class. Or this or that, and I have an answer for it, you know? So it's not just me like, not knowing. And if you actually ask questions, a lot of doctors aren't up to date, you know? So, you know, it's important to ask questions and to understand yourself, your body, right? And then we have the ability, not always, the bone sticking out of your body, right? You gotta go to the doctor and you gotta get fixed up, but usually you have the power to kind of heal ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
Most of the time, you know, it's just understanding what to do.
Yeah. Wow. And like that's what TacFit does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. And just, it's not even like you have to know all this. You have to know all the whys and all that. You just do it. And then just for me, like living it for all these last like 10 years, it's like, okay, you, this is for this is for that. You just, by doing it, just like we do our warm-ups, like, or Kevin's saying, oh, why did we do these warm-ups? I was like, yeah, actually, those are techniques that you actually learn and that you need to know for like basic, you know, jiu-jitsu and fighting, you know. Like, oh, it's boring, you know. It's like, those are the basics, right? And so we do all those things in TacFit. And then actually when you have anything, not just injury recovery, but like prevention and also just optimization.
Okay.
You know, and it's funny because my daughter's wrestling coach, Ostermir, he's from like the Caucasus, like the Dagestan, that area, you know, and all the Soviet style like warm-ups and everything else, it's all like TacFit stuff. And when I first met him, I was friends with all. There was like a crew of them, back when they came in as a white belts and stuff. And I remember like when he started doing the like kind of a no-gi class, it was like a wrestling class. I was like, wow, it's good, And then I started to ask him questions, and he's like, oh, it's all like tack fit. There's a reason why you do all these things, And it's like optimization things, and that's why all the, of course genetics, but then they're training the right way.
Yeah.
They're training the right way. That's why they're like the best athletes. That's why they're the doing all the things that they're doing, having the success, because they train a certain way.
Yeah, like their conditioning and stuff, like the strength and stuff.
Just
like
the body awareness that all the warm-ups and stuff does. You can watch somebody warm up, and you can see how kind of athlete they are.
Okay. Wow.
But just by how they move,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the first like few. I mean, still probably now, but I feel like there's a lot of like inefficient movements that I was doing, and like just like unnecessary strain on your body, Like I roll with like a brand new white belt, it's like first month, and like they're doing so much like energy, like expending so much
inefficiency.
Energy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, like I wonder if like black belts see me that way, I'm just moving so much like with no intention.
You've gotten a lot better, right? You're winning tournaments, and
Thank you.
Yeah, but there's always like room to grow, and you always have to have that mindset, even if you are winning everything. And like Hodger Gracie is a great example of that. He's always like coachable. He's always like listens to the family, and like he's always very coachable.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be coachable. Honestly, I don't get why people like struggle with that. Like I think it's fun because you just like learning is fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that like you can like be someone who like knows, like you're an expert in your field, but you step on the mat.
Even like a white belt, right? Like I think John Danher, you mentioned his name, and he taught Henzo, right? Like the Doris, right? But if Henzo would have been like, oh, like you're just a white belt, you don't know what you're doing, Yeah,
wow.
you know what I mean? Like, so you gotta be open to it, and like you can decide if it's. Can I show you something? Let me see. Yeah, let me see. I'm always like, yeah, let's see. Oh, that's really good. Cool. I'm gonna try that out. You know what I mean?
It's truly like like infinite,
Because we're all so different, and your brain is designed a certain way, and maybe you show me something. Oh man, like Francisco just showed me this thing, like from this lapel choke. Oh, it's crazy, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you never know.
I can't believe it, man. Because like I hear black belts talk about that all the time. Like, oh, like they're still learning something new. I'm like I thought you would have seen it all by now. But it's like it's so. I still like sometimes I think I understand how big it is. But then I realized, like, oh no, it's even bigger than that. Like, Jiu-Jitsu, it never ends. It's like, it's insane. And I think like that's why I think like it's cool that, you can get a black belt in this like sport, in this martial art, to show that you have like a understanding of it. But like people don't really realize how much knowledge and how much time it takes to like truly be a master at anything. But Jiu-Jitsu specifically, it's like I think it's a special thing.
Yeah, I like how they have the black belt. Like system in jiu-jitsu compared to like other martial arts, right? And nobody's better than anybody, but I think it's very thought out well, like for example, you can't be a black belt unless you're like an adult, like you're a grown man or woman, like you have to be, I think, 19, and then to be like a grandmaster, or not grand, but like a master, you have to be like a kind of like a coral belt, you know what I mean? So like you're kind of a little bit older in age, right? You've been around, you have to have a certain sense and wisdom, at that many years in the game, right? Kevin went to Brazil, and he did this, one of his interviews with Russo, he's like going to get his coral belt this year, so that means he's been a black belt for 31 years.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
You're gonna get yours soon too.
I'm gonna get my 6th degree this year, yeah.
Okay.
So have been a black belt for 24 years.
Wow.
And then the next one for me is coral belt. So I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool day.
Yeah, but it's crazy,
Where would you get it? Like, where would you like actually go?
I'm trying to figure that out. Well, I'm for my 6th degree. I'm not sure, like, because there's some politics stuff involved right now. But the IBJJF season sent me my thing. But I might have my like one of my best friends in my life, Amal, come out. But maybe directly. We'll see. I'll see how it all plays out. But for my coral belt, like I'd like Drake to come for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It only makes sense.
It's a legendary moment.
Yeah, he was here when I don't know what degree, but like now it's like, bro, it's like 24 years and then 31 years. Like what?
You've been a black belt longer than you haven't been. You know? That's crazy. Or, wow.
I mean, most of us are going to be like that, right?
Yeah. You know?
So it's just the beginning. Like, getting stripe. Yeah, just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the thing.
What do you think about stripes? Like getting stripes on your belt?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Man, I okay, here and there it's cool, but like it's over. It's like talk about waters down things, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
At white belt, it's cool. At white belt is cool because you need that like, but after that, like blue belt, like I don't know, man. It's like either you're serious or you're not.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like I've talked about it with Professor.
And people
Anthony.
I really care about, like I don't give any stripes, you know.
Yeah, that's good. Like,
but I'm not gonna judge because it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. It's cool. But like overall, like if you ask me personally, like I don't.
Yeah, like
again, what is a stripe? You know, I got a stripe one time when I was a blue belt. I got 4 stripes at once.
Really?
Yeah. Dry cleaner's like, you're 4 stripes after class.
That's crazy.
I was like, oh, cool, thanks. I put them on I had it on for like a month, and then got my purple belt like the next month.
Awesome.
You know.
That's awesome.
And then that was it.
That's sick. Like,
and you just put your head down. And you work on getting better, man.
No, 100%. Like,
you work on getting better. Your jiu-jitsu better, being a better person. Like, man, you just work. You know. And when you get it, you get it.
Yeah, I don't.
And then it means something, or else it's like bod. It's like.
What is it? You look cool. Like, oh, I'm a higher rank than you. You know, it's so stupid. But I agree. Like for white belts, it's cool. You know, it's like it motivates them
for sure.
But they don't know anything better.
Exactly.
And for the kids too, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Kids too.
Kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like blue belts. Like, would you ever like just change the system here?
No, I think it's okay. You know, I think it's okay because listen, man, like if you're like a hobbyist and you train to be healthy and to be good for your family and be a good example for your kids, it's good, man. It's cool. You know. You know what I mean? Like it's not bad. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, because they're not going to be most of those guys. Maybe they're not going to be competing. They're not going to be winning stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're like a young guy and I don't know, man, like be real, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one even wears like the striped belts at competitions anymore. Like everyone just has like their regular belt, you know.
Even the black belt, like the young black, they put a black belt because all you have to have is a bar, right? And it's like a white bar, you know. It's not even the red bar.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The competition belt, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You can wear the black and the red, doesn't matter. But just whatever, just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because that's what stays with you, you know. Giving your best, giving your, really trying to have the best jiu-jitsu that you can have. I think.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it also gives you like a false sense of like security. You know, like, oh, I'm a 4-stripe blue belt or I'm a 3-stripe purple belt, whatever. You know, it's like it doesn't really matter most of the time, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Listen, man, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's bad, you know. But if you ask me personally, like, go no stripes. You know?
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know. That's.
Yeah.
Like Professor George.
Yeah.
So
he was at Glendale. You know, he was one.
Yeah, he founded Glendale. I never gave him 1 stripe on his brown belt.
Yeah. Until just the day came for his black belt.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, after a certain point, like, I feel like you don't really need it. You know, like it feels good when you're like a white belt. You know, not gonna lie, but after that, because like now, I don't know, my whole mentality shifted. Like once I became a blue belt, I was like, I don't even want like a stripe. It doesn't feel like anything. You know?
No.
So I don't even care.
Swear about getting good and being good, right?
Yeah. I want to be good.
Yeah. Like somebody asked John Danaher, like, I don't know if you saw the interview. I think it was Lex Friedman, and he's like, how hard is it to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something, or is it hard to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu? What does it mean? And he's like, it's very easy. You just pay your dues and show up, and get your belt, But is that really a black belt,
No. Have you ever met someone?
Is that the black belt you want to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the black belt you want to be?
You gotta earn it, You ever met someone who they didn't earn it, or like you think they're like?
And yeah, I mean, listen, like everybody has different different lifestyles, and we have to judge that. We have to like decide that on those things, you know, like the promotions and things, you know, like man, this guy's like, you know, some people are not going to be like a, you know, like a super athlete, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, you know, but they're making the effort, they're doing the things, you know. But certain people that you have like higher expectations for, like man, it's like you want to you want to have to focus on those things, right? Being your best.
Like a competitor is not gonna be like judged the same way as like a
Exactly.
guy who has like 4 kids or whatever. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Different place in their life, they're older, right?
What do you think about like?
Even though Savage is like, you know, he's like 80 and he's still competing in his 70s, right?
Dang, it's crazy.
You know?
Hopefully, I can be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like, what do you think? You know, about like people who like you invest in, like you know, like I'm sure you've had like so many competitors under you, you know, but like, after a certain point, do they like kind of like taper off and like go their own way, or like, or how do you feel about like when you invest into someone? Like, what's your mindset behind that? Like, knowing that like potentially they could leave or they could, whatever, you know.
Oh man, I've been around so long that it just you give without whatever happens, you know. You give without what expectations, and like the mindset for me is just like you want everybody to be their best, be their best, and whatever that means, you know. And that goes from like little kids to adults, and that helps, you know, that helps with like the whole like the just dealing with things, you know. Because you make it all about you, and oh, like I invested all this time, and you know, it's like doesn't matter, you know. Just like you're here to serve and to help others, you know. And once you have that mindset and you're good with it, then that's it. That's all that matters. And then people can go and then they come back, you know. That's how it is.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like my students, they've, you know, like whatever stuff happens. Like look at Jeff Glover, for example, right? He moved to Vegas for a while. There's a guy named Mark Lehman back in the day. Frangian was his professor. And he left and went to Vegas and all that. And Frangi's always like, I did a podcast with him as well, the Paragon, right, founder. And then Jeff Glover came back, you know. It's all good, you know. It's like family, you know. All of a sudden, you're going to get all crazy because whatever that you're doing, something that you think is better for you, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. You just got to, it's like having kids, you know, like in a way. For me as a dad now, right? So it's like,
you got to let them fly.
Yeah,
you know?
and make mistakes and do things, and it's all good. Just be there, you know. Be there.
Yeah. Well, what do you like? When it comes, you mentioned your kids. Like, did you like make them like train or like up to a certain level, or like what's the expectation to like
for them? For my kids, no. Yeah. Like when they were little, like I just wanted them to have jiu-jitsu in their lives, you know.
Yeah.
And I just wanted them to be consistent. So like the twice a week thing, and then my daughter, the one that competed a lot and does wrestling now as well. She asked me if she could compete, you know. And it was right around the pandemic, or I don't know, when we started to come back a little bit, you know. And then she did some tournaments, and then or maybe it was right before that. I don't know, I forget. But then she started wanting to compete, and she just started loving competing. And then like, want to do this tournament? And then I just put it out there, you know. Yeah, I want to do it. Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. And then she just did everything, you know.
Okay.
And then she, you know. And then okay, if you want to be serious, you have to train more, you know. And so that's how it happened gradually. If you want it, you know.
Yeah.
So it happened kind of organically. Like she had it in her, and she wanted to do it, you know. And then my daughter, she's doing track right now, but she wants to come back too, and it's cool because a bunch of the kids that they kind of grew up with, you know, they're training, and they're you know, on the mat and stuff, so that makes it, I think, better too, you know.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Having like friends from like your childhood on the mat,
awesome.
like maybe as a coaching staff, or just a part of it, you know.
Yeah.
That they used to compete with, or you know, sometimes against in the in-houses and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good though, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like, you know, hopefully I have kids one day, and like I want like jiu-jitsu to be a part of their life too, you know, God willing.
Yeah.
But
how old are you?
I just turned 30 last week.
Damn, getting old.
On Sunday.
Congrats,
I
man.
know. Thank you.
Happy
bro.
birthday. Oh, it's Mother's Day. This Sunday or the
no,
Sunday
sorry,
before?
last one.
It's
May
last
4th.
Sunday.
May
Okay,
4th.
okay,
May the
okay.
4th be with you. Star Wars
Nice,
Day.
nice.
But but yeah, like hopefully. And I was like, I just didn't know like, what it feels like, or like what like coming from like a guy who trains and then having kids, like I don't want to pressure them too much, or like for example, like I mean maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, but like for example, right, a good example is I have a younger sister. She's 9 years younger than me, right?
Wow.
She's 20, right? She's about to turn 21, and like I never pressured her to start training, but she recently signed up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like she's trained for like a month now or something, over there at Glendale with
Oh,
us.
nice.
But she's young, she's 20 when she signed up, and like I wish I would have started that early, because I mean by now I feel like I'd be like close to a black belt or at least a black belt, maybe. But like I never pressured her, and like she came on her own, and I like that, and I still like I don't like if she doesn't go to training, I don't care, like I don't pressure her, like if like you came to it, like there was no one pressuring me, other than myself and my own mind.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't want that feeling of like something that I enjoy being ruined by someone else, like, oh, you have to be here at this time, and I feel like I have another like my buddy, shout out Arnie, he like he like started training too, and then I was like, oh, like why aren't you training today? Like we're going, like we go together. I'm like, oh, why aren't you coming today? And then like something or other, whatever. But then I realized like, oh no, that's like the wrong approach, like I can't like push people to do it, like, and even if I do, like maybe I can like be on them for like a certain time, but the second I turn around or like I
They have to want it, right?
They're gonna walk
Yeah,
away,
yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, with me pushing whatever, and now it's like I have to just watch myself, not to do those things, not to be too pushy, and just like put it on the table, and if they want to grab it and take it, they do it. If not,
Yeah.
I just, if there's a lesson there, like a teachable thing, I say it, but it's up to them, and having the goals, as well. Like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And then you move in that direction.
Okay. But I feel like, was there like a minimum that you wanted them? Like, did you at least want them to get like their blue belt, for example?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I was really proud when they all got their blue belt together.
Awesome. For sure. Yeah, like I don't want to be like the pushy guy, because I feel like I can be like that sometimes, like be very like, oh no, things have to be this way, But
no, the main thing for me was just a commitment. I got a commitment from twice a week, and then I just, because like everybody can, like mom, whatever. Oh, it's just let them have a day off. Oh, because they want to hang out with their friends, like, and so I'm just a little bit pushy on those kinds of things. But I have to balance everything.
Like a minimum commitment, you know what I mean? Like you signed up for this, like you have to.
Yeah.
Like,
Stay consistent. Okay, if you can't do today, you want to hang out with your friends, like do tomorrow to make it up. Whatever, something like that.
That's cool.
Right? Then you can do it all.
Yeah. Would you say like you're like a chill dad or more like strict?
I think I'm more chill. My wife's more like disciplinary, but I'm certain things like follow through and stuff. I'm very like, I'm hardcore. Like I'm very chill until it's like certain things that I think are important. Then I'm like hardcore.
Okay.
I'm crazy,
Yeah. You gotta balance it out. Man.
Like if there's certain things like you gotta do, like there's I'm going all the way,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that they do it.
I agree with that. There's some things you don't budge on,
Yeah. I have fun and it should be fun and it's all good, but like certain things you gotta do it.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. What are your goals? Excuse me. Talking about goals and
like
those things.
Right now, I studied finance in college.
Okay.
I graduated a couple years ago. And then
nice. Where'd you study?
CSUN.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was working at this like big investment bank.
Nice.
Out in Utah, like Salt Lake City. But I didn't like it, man. Like it was super like.
Did you live out there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We just got back last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was like a really corporate lifestyle, like unhealthy, like just 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever. Like, and it just, I don't know, like the work wasn't fulfilling. I was like, dude, I went to college for this, like, so like now what I'm doing is still gonna work in finance, but like it's like jujitsu, you know, it's like a vast field, so many different things, you know, you can do, and I'm gonna do what because what I was working in wasn't exactly what I had studied, you know, which was financial planning, um, and what I was doing was like stock market stuff, you know, and so I want to go like more specifically into the field that I actually was passionate about, you know, and it all boils down to like helping others, you know, like it's like personal finance or like retirement planning, estate planning, like investment planning, whatever, all that stuff. And yeah, you know, like hopefully be like a financial advisor, financial planner, and you know, work somewhere, like learn, you know, and then you know, hopefully open up my own business, you know, one day, my own firm, you know. So that's my goal. I'm like getting certified right now. Like there's other like, you know, like certifications you have to get now, you know, aside from like just like the bachelor's. So I'm in the process of doing that, and yeah, you know, like on the side, like you know, part-time coaching with the kids, you
Yeah.
know, training as much as I can, you know, and yeah, like see where life takes me, you know. Yeah,
Awesome, man.
yeah.
Love it.
Thank you, brother.
Great work, bro.
Appreciate it,
Yeah.
Professor.
Keep it up.
Thank you.